So, so here we go. All right. I am coming live because there are certain things that I love talking about. And while talking with people this day and age, a lot of things have shifted in the world. And I do feel that a lot of people do think about these things, but they don't act on these things. And so we have so many different variables that are going around us in this world that you simply cannot control. And I would love to share with you some things that are going to help you in 2026 to shift you into a successful mode, a mode of alignment, a mode of purpose, and how you can make changes in this world that is shifting so quickly. And we all know wherever we are in North America, things are heavily changing with things that are happening within our economy, for instance, right? Things we cannot control is the government we currently have in place, whether you're in Canada or the US. Things are not changing, they're in place. And so, how do we pivot in that type of economy that we currently have? And how do we change our mindset in order to move forward from that? Another thing that we can't change the elections just passed. Now we have people that are on one side or the other side. And as much as I love to say, let's all kind of work together, the world is shifting so fast that, two people on odd ends are not coming into agreement. So, what can you do to control those things? In most cases, you can't control those things. We can complain about them, we can talk about them, we can argue about them, but things that we can't control is currently who is in power and how to move around it. Okay. So, as much as we talk about these things and discuss these things, unless we're actually paving things forward, it's hard to kind of assume those positions and really make a difference. Now, we all can make a difference, but it takes a large group of people to actually do those things. Another thing that we can't actually change right now, as much as many people want to say that we're not in a recession, I believe we are in a recession. We have an inflation in costs of absolutely everything. Those are things that we currently can't change. If you go to a grocery store today, I can tell you how many people complain about it, and I can tell you how many people are struggling because of it. This day and age, it's really, really hard to put food on our table. Costs of everything have completely skyrocketed. I'm the one who actually does all of the shopping in regards to grocery shopping and looking at things in for as far as deals. And when I'm looking at groceries, I cannot honestly believe the prices of everything. And I believe I'm at a certain age where I think about these things like, oh my goodness, 20 years ago, the cost of this was this, right? And it's funny how you say, your parents, when you were growing up, you would hear your parents say those things. And now I'm having to say those things. I really can't believe the cost of things and how things are inflating. And it's not even only our groceries, it's the cost of housing, it's the cost of the electricity, all of the utilities, costs of taxes. These are things that we simply can't change, right? So let's talk about taxes. Taxes we can't change. As much as we would love to see a difference in how we're actually being taxed, these things are not changing right now. These are things that a lot of people are complaining about and things that are constantly actually driving huge costs within our economy. And let's not even get into the government spending and all of those things, but these are huge variables that is very hard for people to get ahead in 2025, right? Never mind what's going to happen in 2026. The economy is growing in such a way that is a downfall and a huge trying to be an improvement. But as we're looking at the things that are inflation and people not being able to afford things, of course, there's going to be layoffs absolutely everywhere. Not only are jobs being taken from certain areas in our North America and being taken elsewhere, but these are things that we can't control. People simply can't afford those things anymore just because of costs moving up, right? Things we can't control is also mass immigration, right? The populations are surging. And so, how do we counteract that? How do we move forward in a way where jobs are not going to be available as much as they were? They're not available even right now. And so, even our adolescents, the ones that used to be able to get a job at the age of 14 and 16 and all of those things, they're not able to do those things these days. These are things that we simply can't control because they're going to continue to surge and also grow, right? Um, Crime. This is another thing that we can't control with a lot of changes in our economy. Crime is going to escalate. And I've lived in the US, I've lived in Canada. And as far as living in the US, I loved living in the US because of the cost of living was amazing at that time when I lived there. And I definitely wanted to come back to Canada for healthcare, right? And also for the education system. But these things are significantly changing. There's other parts of the world that are doing significantly better than North America in regards to healthcare, times of actually waiting. I just saw an article and actually a full publication and statistics that our wait for healthcare in the last year of 2025 and the amount of deaths or issues that happen were in the tens of thousands that were not able to be seen. And so these are things that simply are going to continue to cause a problem in our economy and in the world right now because of all of the things that is happening all around us, right? Global conflicts, these are always going to be things that we can't control. We are, one person can make a huge difference. However, look at the populations that are happening around us, right? They're constantly growing, they're constantly shifting around the world, and also what we can't control is what the things that we see and hear, right? Where is our time being taken from us as far as media? I always say this to people, watch where you're putting your attention. I have not watched the news in years. Absolutely have not looked at it. I've had looked at CNN and Fox sometimes when certain things have come up, just to see where each point of view has been coming from on certain situations or when tragic things happen. I definitely want to be in the know and want to hear certain things. But as far as media and television, if you're privy to what's going out in the world and what's going on, then you will know that a lot of the large people that are actually putting money into this is the government and what you're actually seeing on the television and news and all of these things and causing fear in people and wanting people to, be fearful of certain things and play into certain things. I've not looked at television in the same way after realizing really what's happening in this world and how we're being programmed in certain things. And so, the things of cost of healthcare and cost of actual student care and daycare, all of these things are rising. So, what we cannot control is what's going on around us as far as the world is concerned, the government's concerned, taxes are concerned, healthcare is concerned. These are variables right now that, can seem in a grim place. And I'm sure that in the next year, it's going to continue in that way where things are going to still be inflating. The cost of living is going to be even higher because we are not keeping up with the mass immigration that's coming in to, I know for sure in Canada. And, people are not going to be able to afford their homes or be able to afford rent. And there won't actually be enough housing around, even as much as they want to create more housing and more, I guess, more agendas around that, right? And so the things that we can't control are huge, fearful things in people every single day. And I hear it all around. I see it. I do spend time on social media because my business is on social media. And, we can get so enthralled and so programmed by the things that we see and hear of what's going on with around us, whether that is what you believe as false information everyone, I always say, do your research. Do your own research and look at statistics. Look at the actual websites with statistics and information. And so you can make your own assessments of how to move forward. But as the world is changing, what are we doing to actually make sure that our households are strong-minded, mentally prepared for what's coming? Because there are things that are going to be changing around us that we are unable to control. So I do have 5 things for you to do in 2026 that you can control in your surroundings and what you see and hear out there. So, as a mindset and transformation coach, I love talking about what we do in regards to how we're programmed and how do we counteract that type of programming. We are programmed by everything around us from the time that we are born. We are genetically programmed through our parents and our families. I'll give you an example. The things that we love to eat, even as babies, are not because we like them, it's because we've been programmed to like them, right? And so as we grow up in different households with different ethnic diversities and foods and cultures, we are programmed to like certain things throughout our lifetime and our lifespan. So we are programmed from such an early age. And even at an early age, we are programmed not consciously, but subconsciously, which means that even as a baby until the age of 2, we are absorbing absolutely everything that is surrounding us from our parents, from what we watch as children, and then everything that is surrounding around us until we start being able to make our own decisions and really taking in knowledge as far as education and what we learn on a daily basis. And that is in our conscious. And so, what I always say to people is, what are you doing in regards to keeping yourself mentally strong and sane and keeping yourself prepared for 2026? There's a new year ahead. And so, I hear so many times and so many cliches about New Year's resolutions. And the reason why most New Year's resolutions fail is simply because they actually don't take into account the fact that you need to be creating habits through programming on a regular basis, right? And so the programming that we're constantly seeing on a regular basis is from the things that are around us, the things that we see, the things that we hear within our families, the opinions that we hear from others, and other people's beliefs. But what are yours? What are yours that are going to continue to keep you stronger in 2026? So here are 5 things that you can look at and make sure that are you aligned with these things in order to control what's going on around you and how you can actually counteract those things and grow yourself so you're not left behind in 2026. How can you better yourself to make more income, to be more mentally sound, to not procrastinate, to actually do the things, do the income producing activities, how to grow your business, how to grow your profession, how to grow your relationships around you and make them even stronger, to make a community that is going to help you and make you thrive in 2026. So, the one thing that you can control in this crazy world of ours is your energy. Okay. Where are you putting your energy? And your energy is a magnet. And that means that most people waste it without even realizing it. You know, as much as we feel energy from other people, where is your energy going if you're constantly complaining? If you're constantly in a negative state and fear, that energy is never going to serve you in 2026. That's never going to catapult you in the energy that you need to have. And, you know, we've heard it so many times over the last couple of years, BDE, let's just say big destiny energy. Okay. You need to have that type of energy in order to move forward and really have an electric energy for you to move in a way that's going to serve you in 2026. Are you going to sit back and watch your life burn in slow motion, right? And if you don't actually have the energy or capacity to do that, then where are you going to get that energy to actually serve you in 2026? If you're pouring even your energy into people that are draining you, then is that going to serve you in 2026? Are you going to put yourself in relationships and put yourself in a line of fire that is going to constantly put you in a burnout mode or even an energy that's going to completely plummet your spirit and your mindset? So, most people, when they do watch the news and they watch the first 15 minutes, their blood pressure goes up. And there's a reason for that. Because the more that you hear about things of worrying and putting that fear into people, that is going to take energy and drain you significantly, right? Or are you taking your energy and listening to books or reading books or energizing yourself or learning new skills and putting your energy into those things are really going to serve you in 2026? The same energy that you're putting into watching these things kind of slowly turn and burn, while you could actually be building a second income and putting your energy into that, into something that is really going to serve you, putting energy into strengthening your body for 2026, putting your energy into doing some activities like going to the gym, taking your dog out for a walk, and being consistent with that. And it's going to elevate your entire life. Energy is a choice. Energy is an absolute choice, and you can reclaim that choice. And that is huge in your future. So that's number one. Where are you putting your energy, and where are you getting your energy from? How are you fueling yourself with energy? Are you eating the right things in 2026? Or are you just having a coffee in the morning and crashing by 10 a.m. because you haven't eaten properly and you're full of caffeine that's not serving you, right? Or are you actually putting nutrients in your body that is going to make you stay awake? Vitamin D, all of these things. I am iron deficient, and I just found that out in my previous blood work. And so that's so important that that's going to serve in my energy, knowing these things, making sure that my health is in order. So I do have the energy to do those things. So energy is a big factor that's going to serve you in 2026. How are you going to build that energy and make that energy? Number two, your time. So the one thing that I hear people say all the time is, Ella, I don't have time. Okay. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. They are constantly on an autopilot mode. And they're also putting time in places and areas that don't even serve them, right? So, how are you determining where your hours go in a day? Because I do know so many people that run on this autopilot that it's just like if you're driving a car. Sometimes, and I know that you've gone through this, where you've started from a place and you've gotten home or finished a destination and you don't even remember how you got there because there's just so many things going on. And that's your brain subconsciously taking you from point A to point B. I hear it so many times where women will tell me, oh my goodness, I've done so, like my day was shot. I did so much, but I felt like I never got anything accomplished and I didn't even get anything done that I was supposed to do or even work related. They had things that they had outlined as priorities, but something came up that was a bigger priority and something that they had to put out the fire on. And so they weren't even able to get to those things. And so most time you're feeling not accomplished, you're feeling like a failure because you're not getting the things done. And they're nowhere near aligning themselves with where they need to put their time in. So time is something that we cannot get back, right? But there is a way for you to actually make your time meaningful. So, do you have your time scheduled? Are you taking the time to actually make sure that you're taking your time to make sure that you're getting those things scheduled? And time doesn't come back, but what you use in priority is going to determine where you're putting in your time. So, when I work with people, right, we'll work on auditing their time. And what I do find is that there is time in their day. It's just that they're not using it in the proper way that's going to shift their alignment with what they want to achieve in their life. And so much time is wasted on watching TV, those distractions of your phone and scrolling. I I really, really, really suggest, and I hope you do this. Take a look at your phone. Take a look at how much time and energy that you're using to actually put in to your phone, and how much are you using it? How much time are you using on certain social media? How much time are you using it on different things within your phone? Now, I know a lot of people say that they work on their phone through their or their business through their phone, which is completely fine, but I guarantee that your phone is a distraction. The TV is a distraction. People who are not serving you is a distraction. Are you wasting time in areas that you shouldn't be wasting time? There's so many people that want to move ahead in their career and in their income and say that they're broke, but they're not putting time into the things that will serve them to actually move forward. I hear it so many times where people will say, tomorrow I'll go to the gym. Tomorrow, Monday, all of these things. And weeks pass and time passes. And the thing is that you can't get back yesterday, but you can make a change for tomorrow. And so, so many people are disconnected in the way that they're using the time. The time, your time is so, so important. And so, where you're putting your time in every single day, are you scheduling your time? Are you auditing your time? Are you wasting your time? Are you actually using your time to serve you in those ways? If your family is important to you, are you spending quality time with your family? Or are you on your phone at the same time that you're spending time with your family? So if you're going to make family time that's going to serve your kids, your spouse, your parents, whoever it is. Be in the present and use that time well. So when you're actually going to go to the next thing or work or weekends or sports or whatever, that you're using your time in a manner that is going to serve you in 2026. So, as far as using your time, it also has to do with your habits. So, if you're having habits and patterns that are not serving you, that is going to eat up your time also. The time that you're spending worrying and being depressed and having anxiety and running in circles and making these loops and patterns that are not serving you and not breaking the mold by actually getting to the root, which is what I do, then your time is not going to serve you moving forward. Time is going to pass 6 months from now, 12 months from now. And if you don't make a change right now in what you can control, then you're going to be in the same place in 2026 in December, complaining about the inflation, the government, the money situation, housing, all of those things. But you can be the destiny of your own domain and your own household. And that's what we do in my program and my coaching and how I help people to actually move that needle. So the first thing was your energy. Number two was your time. And third is your mindset. So what are you doing to make sure that your mind controls your life, your decisions, your emotions, and your future? And if all of those things are out of alignment, nothing shifts externally until you shift internally. And so that is absolutely so important. So ask yourself, what are you tapping into? If it's your mindset and if you're spiritual, are you tapping into God? Are you praying for guidance? Are you spiritually fed? If you believe in different powers, how are you being fed that? Are you starving from that? Do you need help from that? And as far as your mindset's concerned, where is your mindset currently? If you did a mindset audit and you took a look at how much stress you have, how much worry you have, how much fear you have from actually moving the needle, there are things that are holding you back and blockages that you need to address and move forward from. So how are you doing those things? Because I can tell you, another course is not going to help. If you've done courses and you've started them and not even achieved them or finished them, if you started a book and never even finished it, or haven't even applied the book, or haven't even applied the course, or learned a new skill set but actually haven't been doing it, we can read as many books as we want in our conscious mind, but in order to implement those things, it takes our subconscious and our paradigms and our patterns to actually create those new patterns and move forward and be successful in those things. So if your mindset is not in the right space and you're constantly in a loop of limiting beliefs and roadblocks and constantly telling yourself that, you're not worth it or you shouldn't be doing this or you're not good enough to do things and are so negative to yourself, we have 70,000 thoughts that we have through our heads throughout the day, give or take, right? And think about those thoughts. If you did an inventory on your thoughts, how many of those thoughts are negative? How many of those are things like you won't even start them or do them because you feel they're completely out of grasp? And so many people think these things are normal and they're really not. It's the fact that you've stayed in that pattern so long that you think it's normal. And so success for you can be in many different fashions. It can be success in your health. It can be success monetarily through business or education or your career, or it could be success, the fact that you can put food on your table, right? And so success looks differently to everyone. But what are the things that you're doing to be successful in your own life? And so that mindset has to be so strong in order for you to move those needles to actually make the actions to move forward in every capacity that you can. So important. Are you building resilience? Are you building strength? Are you building confidence? How are you doing those things? Because sometimes a book, a course, those things won't actually work. And so, are you getting the support to actually keep yourself mentally strong? And that's where your time and energy also kicks in. Are you spending the time with people who are constantly telling you, no, you can't do that? Are you constantly with people that are questioning your decisions or even your passions or your hobbies? Like if you love something, like are people questioning you, saying, why do you even do that? Because if you lead with a purpose and knowing what you want and really go after it, you can achieve those things. Be careful with the energy that you're putting in and putting out to people that are surrounding you that are going to keep you mentally strong and lift you up and give you the encouragement to do those things. That's why support systems and communities are so important. That's why I'm building a community right now that's going to be launching within this week for women who want to network and to be around other women that are going to completely lift them up, empower them, and to help them move the needle. This is going to be a personal development plus networking for women in profession that are professionals or career oriented or focus on building a business. So are you also being around people that are goal oriented, who have things going for them? Are you the smartest person in the room? Because then if you are, then you shouldn't be in that room. You should be expanding yourself to be in mindset and in rooms with people that are going to help you grow and are going to help question you in order to make you a better person. That is so important because if you're also in a relationship that is draining you and is constantly negative towards you or surrounding you, guess what's going to happen? You're going to take on those paradigms, you're going to take on those limiting beliefs, and you're going to create patterns that you're not going to want, that's going to take you twice as long to actually get out of. So that's another thing. Number four is your decisions. What you can control is your decisions. What you write in your future is your decision. Okay. I believe in a higher power and I do believe that there are certain things that I'm led to do, but your decisions make a difference. Even the ones that you avoid. There's good decisions and there are bad decisions. Some decisions that you think are good can turn out to failure, but here's the thing. More decisions you make leading to you towards goals is going to get you there sooner or later. There's so many people in this world that were not successful before, but they made a decision to come back and do it again and do it again. Michael Jordan. I don't even think he made his high school team or elementary. I can't even remember. But then he came back to be the best basketball player with the highest grossing business in the world, Air Jordan. We're talking about people that have tried again, and ended up succeeding in the long run. Like you can't control the economy, inflation, and government, but you can control what you tolerate also. You make the decision of what you tolerate, what you choose to walk away from, what you choose to build, what you choose to heal, what you choose to learn. what you choose to invest in. And you get to choose when to say yes and when to say no. So those decisions of making boundaries around people, the decisions to create a new income, like these are decisions you can control. You can't control certain things, but you can make the decision to move the needle tomorrow. You can make the decision that 2026 is going to be totally different than 2025. These are things that you can control. Your decisions of where you're putting your time, your energy, and all of those things are huge. We all go through different chaotic seasons, and we all have times where things are really, really tough, and we don't know when to make the right decisions, or fear of making a decision because we're fearful of failure or actually being successful. But you have to make decisions in order to move that needle, in order to make the actions to move forward. Okay. And then lastly, what you can control is community. Community and who you sound around yourself around is one of the biggest factors. The world that today is getting more and more technology wise and more secluded, where people are not really spending so much time, especially the younger generation. They're behind a screen and they're lacking the social skills of being around people and talking to people, even interviewing skills. These are skill sets that the younger generation's lacking. And so, as we grow into a technology world and an internet-based world and a digital world, these are things that are highly things that are secluding us from the real world. And so, communities are huge. We are human beings, and human beings are ones who really need camaraderie, really need to have people around us to feel a certain way and make us feel good. And so, community is the way that shapes us and also brings us joy in so many ways, also. So, who do you surround yourself with who shapes who you're becoming? So, certain circumstances, we can't choose our parents. We can't choose our kids. The kids came from us, but we can't choose them, right? So, these are things that we get to determine as we do get older of where our time goes and how we actually shift the energy to be a positive one, even when we're around those people. But you do get to choose the people that you get to surround yourself with, like your friends, your community of involvement with maybe spiritually, whether you're Christian or any other denomination. So you have different communities that you can be a part of. There's groups out there. There are challenges out there for you to be a part of to actually grow your space and circles and all of those things. You know, are you spending your time around people that are continually gossiping? If you're going to, out with your girls and the only thing to do to catch up is talk about other people, is that the energy that you want? Is that the energy that you should be spending? Or is it energy that's like, hey, what are you doing next? If those conversations are going from gossiping to how can I help you and support you to be better? What's going on with you for the next year? What's going on with you for the next month? Let's do something that's going to be productive. Let's do something like let's go to the gym. Let's go for a walk. Friends that are going to do things with you that are going to pull you into situations that are going to make you grow and out of your comfort zone are the spaces that you should be involving yourself in. Or are you putting yourself in low vibration and negativity spaces that are not serving you? I've had to really look at the space and the time that I've been putting into where I've been going. And I know so many people say that too. And it's almost like you're auditing your community also. Audits may sound bad, but they're so good in so many ways because then you're able to see something from a bird eye view of where your time is actually going into and your community. So if you're putting yourself in spaces that, are not serving you and gossiping and, partying and doing all of those things, is that going to serve you or actually shift you into a weekend that's not spent well, but actually recovering and being hungover, right? And I'm not saying that you can't do that once in a while, but if you're constantly doing those things or putting yourself in situations and spaces that are not serving you, then that's not going to move the needle for 2026 in general. Put yourself in spaces where you can actually get the support, where you're going to be able to have your goals flourish and have the pathway actually help you move in that direction that you really want to. You know, you can, you can, and I do say this because I'm talking about younger generations and our generations. Community is so important, and community, especially in times that we're going through right now with the economy and everything that's going on in North America and Canada and the US, community and putting yourself around people that are like-minded and aligned help you make you feel that you're not alone and actually sane. And so, in order to avoid depression, anxiety, and worry, build yourself up in communities that are going to help serve you and support you in so many good ways. I can't say that enough. And so that's why my purpose is to build these communities where women don't feel isolated, that communities don't feel isolated, that people feel like they have a space that they can come to and grow and be seen and be validated. And so, in a time that life is changing so rapidly, the things that we can't control obviously are not going to serve us, but there are things that we can control that are going to help us in 2026 and years to come that are going to make us stronger and more successful so we can be prepared to grow financially, mentally, and as a community of support, positivity, and empowerment. So I hope that this was of use to you and some value. I love having these discussions with people, and I thought, why not come on live and discuss these things and talk about these things because they are things that we need to be discussing within our community, with friends, with family. And how do we make a change in this world? Be the change makers, be the change that your family needs, the change that your friends need. How are you making an impact on other people's lives? And so I invite you to not only do that within your own space, but if you're looking for more support, this is where I have my programs and my community coming up that we are making shifts in 2026. And I don't want anyone to be left behind. We are here to support each other, to love each other, and to raise each other up into new levels and new heights. So I hope this was of value. Love you all. Have a great evening. Bye.